Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today on Neo Sylphid, it's going to be Ample versus Motive. Should be an excellent PvT. RJB sent it to me directly. He doesn't send me bad replays. Top side, going to be Ample. And in the bottom right, going to be Motive. Don't cast a lot of Motive, cast a lot of Ample. He is an excellent Terran player. He is among the elite of Terran players here in 2023. And Motive's going to have his hands full with the tanks and the vultures and the science vessels and maybe some early marine pressure. And hopefully he will be ready for everything that Ample can throw at him to give us an excellent, excellent match here on Neo Sylphid. I feel like Neo Sylphid is the most popular map, right? On the ladder. Or maybe it's good for macro replays because that's all pretty much all that I cast, right? Right. Anyway, hit that like button if you're excited for a PvT here featuring Ample and Motive. I know that I am. I'm pretty much entirely recovered from the sickness that I had during the last week of 2022. Good riddance sickness. I got tested for COVID and it came back negative, so it wasn't that, but man, I was coughing, I was sneezing, I was having body aches. I was having a fever one day. It was not fun. Not fun indeed, but no nausea, no throwing up, so I'll take it. That is my least favorite sickness symptom. Alright, so barracks coming up. Okay, gateway warping in. Alright. Very standard here. SCV, Steve the SCV moving out. What is up, Steve? How's 2023 treating you? He's like, wait, what? 2023? That's the past. Actually, when is Brood War set? StarCraft 1, there are these arc ships that set off from Earth to find habitable planets to settle because Earth is like overcrowded and stuff, etc., right? Very standard science fiction-y thing. So they fly and people are in stasis for a while. And do we have a year? When is StarCraft set? No, StarCraft was not released. It was not set in 1998. 2259. Okay. In the year 2259, human colony ships reach the distant Kaprulu sector. The Terrans establish colonies, several political factions emerge, and in true human fashion, everyone goes to war almost immediately. Accurate. Probe scouts where Ample is. Steve the SCV, by process of elimination, knows where Motive is. He's going to scout too. So 2259. So appropriately future placed. I mean, a lot of science fiction stuff from the 90s was like 2025, 2021. That's in the future enough, right? No, it's not. Like, I think Blade Runner is supposed to be like 2021 or something, right? When is Blade Runner set? Or 2050 or something like that? 2019, yeah. The dystopian Los Angeles of 2019. So, I mean, yeah, good job, StarCraft writers, figuring out that we'll just put it in this super far-flung future of 2259, which is, by that point, sure, maybe we'll have figured out travel to different solar systems and stuff. But, you know, but 2019, not really a thing that's going to happen, is it? So both players expanding. Cybernetics core is on the way, and a pretty fast Citadel here from Motive as well. Might be some DT shenanigans. This is a good map for DT shenanigans. A lot of dead airspace. You can kind of sneak a shuttle in here, unload a DT, get out of there with no one the wiser. DT gets in the mineral line, ruins your Terran's day, and you have a pretty good experience overall. Steve the SCV has stolen some minerals and is being pursued by probes and a Dragoon, but the probes take him out. That is a citizen's arrest. Did he scout this? Did he scout the Citadel? Well, you got to go forward anyway. Get that Templar Archives going. I mean, at this point, he's kind of stuck on the tech path, isn't he? Yeah, robotics facility, Templar Archives, DT shenanigans are afoot. Or maybe, I don't know, storm drops are in the future here, too. It's definitely a possibility. And the Vulture, wow, makes it into the main base. How'd you get all the way in here with no damage? How did you... these probes are like, no, box him into that corner, execute him. Execute him. And they got him, but a few probes died there, 2 to 3. 19 probes at 23 SCVs, not exactly where Motive wants to be. And so far, no pressure. I mean, this has been Terran, right? Putting the pressure on Motive, not the other way around. Usually we see Dragoons harassing up here, but this time, Motive has to be on the defense. He's trying to hide this tech, which he kind of failed to do. Spider-Mine research is on the way. Yeah, and turrets are coming up. So he recognizes the threat of the DT is very real in this game. Realer than it usually is. As Production Tab says, Dark Templar. Production Tab says, Observatory. Both players are working on invisible stuff. Spider-Mines and DTs are in play here in the first 5 minutes of the match. Vultures flying around. Again, Vultures need to be active. I know it's really tempting Terran players to sit on 3 bases and do whatever you want, but being active with your Vultures is a good thing to do. At the very least, scouting to see where the expansions of your opponent are, you know? Second gas on the way from Ample, firing up additional factories now that he's got the tech out he needs to deal with DTs. DT, interestingly enough, kind of in a defensive position. This green really cloaks nicely with the grass that he's on, doesn't it? Yeah, I'd say it does. Vulture speed next. Not really going for siege mode for tanks quite yet. More worried about DTs than Dragoons at this stage of the game, and understandably so. Obs moving out for scouting purposes. Additional gateways on the way, so both players settling into a nice macro game here. Checking to see third base here. No, says Spider-Mine. Vultures getting a swing on run by. My gosh. These Dragoons. Oh, no, they got the block this time, but Spider-Mine's got laid. Ah! No, Dragoon gets killed. DT on defense is able to take out a Vulture and then gets killed by said Vultures. No, does not actually. Drag him into the Spider-Mines. Oh, Spider-Mines not engaging. And DT, gets pinned in there by the probes, and then the DT wipes him out. So DT, couple kills, and both of those are Vultures. That's pretty nice. Spider-Mines don't get any more kills after that one Dragoon either, so chaotic situation there for Motive, but he seems to have held it pretty darn well. I'm going to give him some props for that. Do we already have Siege Mode? Why is that not being researched? Vehicle weapons on the way. We already have Vulture Speed and Spider-Mines, so getting Siege Mode seems to be the logical. There it is. Siege Mode now coming in. A little bit late, but that's okay. I'm worried. I'm worried about Motive here, being on his 2 bases. Where's your third base, man? You really need to be out macroing and out expanding your Terran opponent, or bad things will be happening to you. I can predict that with great accuracy. Nice snipe on that probe. A beautiful target firing there. Spider-Mines. No. There's Dragoons with range and observers now. Not happening. And look at Ample. He's getting a third base. It's being built inside his main. Okay, so maybe, yeah, this probe, the previous probe who had this job, as Vulture tried the run by and fail, was murdered, but you probably will be just fine as Motive warps in his third base now at 8 minutes, but like the third base of Ample is effectively done. There's an Obs checking it. He sees it. He sees what's going on with it. This isn't a 2-base opening at all. From Ample, I mean like a 2-base like all in, where you're just not getting a third base whatsoever, right? So third base, lift, land, protect it, defend it with your life here. Handful of Dragoons just clearing out Spider-Mines, catching Vultures out there as you may want to. Storm getting researched. Faster shuttle movement coming in here too. And third base landing for Ample, as the third base is about 50% complete, warped in from Motive. So I'd say Ample's playing pretty well, but no real surprise there. Ample is excellent at Terran. His TVZ is very good. His TVP, very good. He's keeping his money low. I mean, just like Motive is. I'm not trying to talk up Ample at Motive's expense here, because Motive is playing extremely well too. I mean, the early DT gambit didn't really pay off because it got scouted, but hey, the DT was useful in base defense, so it didn't completely die without any value to it whatsoever, right? And now Motive expanding again, even before the third base is warped in. By that I mean the third base is warped in, and he's thinking about getting a fourth base over here. Kind of scary to do. This Obs position is great from Motive. Sees exactly what he needs to deal with if he's going to come up here and kill this third base. Sees it's pretty well defended. Pretty terrifyingly so, I would say. And here we go. We're going to Storm Drop. Storm Drop heading up the right side. Not Arbiters yet. Again, getting Arbiter tech off of your 2-base opening is pretty normal stuff. And you're close to it here. But he's got a Robotic Support Bay and a Templar Archives here. No sign of an Arbiter Tribunal. No Stargate either. I mean, that's the big one, right? So Vulture's cruising into this third base. They're going to, I don't know, fight against these Dragoons. Try to get in amongst these probes too. Ruin some of their days while we're at it. 50-49. Probe count is falling. Evacuation is happening, but was that enough? I don't know. 45 to 62 workers in favor of the Terran is not good, but guess who? We're still pinning our hopes on this storm drop. Apple's at 62 SCVs. He's trying to get a pull out, but beautiful storm drop down to 51. That's 10 workers killed, 11 workers killed there. Vulture's here to deal with Zealots that unload and High Templar that unload there too. That was amazing. Vulture's trying to attack into this fourth base, which is now warping in, but the Great Wall of Pylons are dealing with them. No problemo. So that was pretty good. I mean, that was something that Motive really needed to do. He lost some probes there. He was really down on economy, and now he's not as much, although being down on economy at all to a Terran player is a pretty terrifying prospect for any Protoss. But killing those 11 SCVs there with that storm drop was pretty good. Still got those 2 High Templar in there. One storm, 2 storm. Red storm, blue storm. He's moving out with another High Templar drop with a Dark Templar in this one. And here's another straight up. Oh man, this is great. Okay, well, more SCVs just not getting pulled. Completely in the line of fire here. Gets another storm off, and it's 49 workers at 52 probes now. And he's coming in. Oh, he's coming into this third base. There is a turret here, so I don't know if unloading tries to get some more storms up. Pretty good, I gotta say. That's some pretty good storm drops. 45 workers, 45 SCVs to 53 probes now. That was great. This is fantastic from Motive. This is like he's playing a fastest map. He's just storm dropping left, right, and center here. Every base has been storm dropped. Incredible stuff. So far, so good, I would say, from Motive. He was not in a good place before, but now he is in a good place. He's got 4 bases. He's got more workers than his enemy Terran player does. He hasn't really done a great job killing tanks, which that is something that you really do need to do if you're going to beat somebody as good as Ample. Oh, this probe transfer is murderous. Oh, man, that sucks. That was just bad timing. That was just bad luck for Motive. Now he's down. Well, he's even in worker count, but that's not good either. He really wants to be up. Is he moving in? All right, he's going to Zealot bomb on some of these tanks, but by golly, 4 of them are unsieged. And then they stop, and the storm immediately pops in. Wow, bruising him up. The Dragoons trying to clear him out. And yeah, they've already taken a storm to the face. They're not that hard to kill. We are trading Dragoons for tanks. And that's exactly what Motive's doing there, and it's working. It is working like a charm for him. So that is exactly what he needed. Right? His economy, good. He's on 4 bases. He did a great job trading out some tanks there, resetting the tank count from Ample, and that's how this works. He's following the recipe. He's following the plan to an absolute T. 4th base coming up right side for minerals for Ample. No gas there, but that's okay. He's going to be making a lot of vultures here today anyway. And I don't know. Like, that attack was, I think, a swing down to this 4th base to maybe try to kill it, but intercepted, stormed, Zealot dropped, and Dragoon cleaned up by Motive there. That was, oof. That was great. So I think this one from Ample had a good first, 5-10 minutes to I think Motive's really kind of taken over here. He's probably in a position to expand again. I don't know that he really has the army to push out, but Ample's not doing super hot either here. Super hot. There you go. Now Stargate's coming in, so we're probably going to start seeing Arbiters here. I don't know if Motive's going to move into Carriers. It's, it's always on the back of the mind as a Protoss. You want to do that or not. Against a Terran, it's pretty much always an option. You can kind of start with Carrier, though it's hard to do that. Easier to start this way. And then move into Carriers and maybe Mass Carrier, but most recently the meta has been more kind of a hybrid Carrier, Dragoon, Zealot army, right? So it's 6, 7, 8 carriers instead of the 15, 20 carriers, but you've got some ground army to buttress as well. Arbiter Tribunal. Okay, so it's probably not carriers today. Instead, was that another storm drop? Did I miss one? 66 workers for Ample seems okay. I think maybe the shuttle just kind of got chased out. No, definitely unloaded something. Maybe a Zealot there. There's 2 High Templar in the slots. Probably weren't 3 High Templar in those slots. And one of them died would be my guess. Yeah, 5th base from Motive. 5th base coming in left side. This kind of sucks as an expansion location because tanks can set up here and fire on it and kill it, but you know. You do what you gotta do, and attacking into the high ground against tanks is also considered a terrible idea. So that base is gonna belong to Ample unless he abandons it entirely with all of his tanks. As long as that thing is defended by siege tanks, it's gonna be a tough break for Motive. Although, I don't know, we've seen it done. Maybe not with this many tanks, though. If there's like 3 or 4, maybe you could pull it off. Yeah, I'm really surprised this shuttle... Let me sneak back in. There's only 1 Goliath down there. He's waiting for shields to come back up. Arbiters in production. Ample might be surprised there aren't any Arbiters yet. Here we go. There's an unloader Rama. Oh, SCV pulled good. Couple SCVs died. Nothing really to write home about there if you're a High Templar in that position. Vulture is moving out on an aggressive play, but getting intercepted here by Motive. Motive shoving that away. 184 to 155 supply, setting up to expand again here is Motive. And this is how you do. He's following the playbook. The playbook that was established. I don't even know. Who's the first Protoss that was like, this is how you play PvT? Was it Bisu? Who knows? And we're okay. I was like, are we just kind of sharking? We're just kind of going for it here. Great. Beautiful storm on that tank clump. Defensive matrix is up. Still absorbing shots there. Dragoons are like, coming up a ramp. Attacking up a ramp is the worst. Yeah, as that Dragoon pays for that bad pathing with his life. Stasis getting researched. That's going to help here in situations like this where there are just 10 tanks on the high ground. Stasising some of them is good. And Motive expanding on the left side here. Another attempt, probably at a storm drop. And, oh, from the other side of the wall, catching a few SCVs there. 58 SCVs remain to 61 probes. Oh, kills a tank too. Nicely done, this Zealot. And gets evacuated. Evacing the Zealot. Motive. Playing well. Man, I'm talking up Ample this whole time, but Motive's doing some great stuff. Beyond great stuff. EMP is available. Science vessels, I'm not sure if they've tossed any down just quite yet. Maybe waiting for a bigger engagement. Maybe waiting for the Arbiters to make their presence known and then go for it. Okay, just coming up this ramp. Right on, then. Yo, EMP on the Arbiter there. Yes, still providing the cloak, requiring scans. The bunker's going down. This 3rd base of Ample is it's full evacuation. The tanks on the low ground might avenge it. Can we? I don't know. The Dragoons are like, go, 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 get out of here. There's too many tanks. The 3rd base is on fire and does manage to re-land in its position, but there's 47 SCVs remaining for Ample to 61 probes. That was a pretty big hit to the economy of the Terran player. Man, I didn't think he'd be able to get up there, but I guess that some of the tanks relocated. There weren't quite as many up here to deal with, and that helped. That helped a lot. Didn't even stasis any tanks during that battle. Intriguingly, maybe not enough energy on the Arbiter. Maybe he did catch an EMP before he could go for that stasis. Tank sieging up for a base that's not here. This is why Motive hasn't expanded here. It's because that would have killed the Nexus in about half a second. Vulture trying to make sure an expansion down this way to the left side spawn is not easy. I don't like this engagement for Motive, not at all, but he's got Zealots flanking on the back side of these unsieged siege tanks, trying to storm them, but they're slippery buggers as they're moving, and my gosh, Dragoons continuing to push through. This is more of a trade out for tanks play than we're going to win this battle play, I think, although more Zealots are here. Okay, and yeah, Dragoons pulling back. Tank down, several tanks dying here. 135 to 103 supply. And I think Motive has just done an amazing job keeping Ample from getting up that huge, terrifying, scary 30 siege tank army. He's had a couple engagements here that haven't necessarily gone perfectly for him, but he's done a good job of whittling that tank count down, down, down. Down, down, down. recall's getting researched. Ample says, well, I don't have a lot of support for these tanks, but we'll set up any... Oh, here we go. Here's some support. That's what we're talking about. Going to simultaneously threaten these two bases of motive with this one tank line. I love that. And he can defend it, too. There's a shuttle in here thinking about going for some zealot bombs on these tanks. That would be good. The vultures are not in a position to really protect them at all. Beautiful stuff here from Motive. He's like, well, thanks. If you're not going to have any vultures in this position, we'll just wander in and kill your siege tanks and shut down this entire enterprise. How does that sound? The vultures are like, no! All the tanks die but one. But the cannons died to the siege tanks, and the vultures are getting some hits off on these probes. Okay, this is getting really good now. Ample whittling away at that probe count. Again, he's had a pretty good few good chances to do this, and he's pulling it off here now. 48 probes to 53 SCVs here. Motive is kind of trying to save this left side base, and vultures killing one of your nexuses is always a very embarrassing thing, but I guess there is an entire Goliath here too, providing damage at the same time. But my gosh, that's hilarious. Vultures, fight it, got it. Vultures killing an Nexus just never fails to make me laugh. Like, well, hiding down, you want to come down here? Great, go right ahead. Ooh, science vessel, wrong place, wrong time. So base down. Meanwhile, Ample's expanded over to the right side of the 3 o'clock here. He's down 174 to 113 supply, make no mistake. His army value is not crazy good, but he just wiped out a source of income for the Protoss, and he got a new source of income of his own. Hasn't lost any bases yet. He's actually mined out his third base entirely, which is always nice. You don't have to worry about it as much after that happens. So siege tank count is not super hot, but 3-2 siege tanks are mean. 3-2 upgrades on the Dragoons going to be pretty good. Vultures being active. Spider mines getting thrown down all over the place, trying to pick up as many of these zealots as they can, and now they're just kind of backed into a... Okay, this is bad. No, get down. Get down, Mr. President. Maybe slip across this bridge and up? I don't know. They're just trying to drag the army of Motive away from going north. Would be my guess. It's working pretty well. As he kills another probe. 53 to 48 workers left side. Base of Motive is getting replanted after it was killed by vultures so unceremoniously. But man, 198 to 127 is a tough look here for Ample. Yeah, that's command center dying. I mean, it's got a ComSat station attached to it, so it's got some use, but it dying, not the worst thing in the world. It's going to try to evac, but when there are +3 Dragoons shooting at your face, kind of hard to stay alive as a command center in a situation like this. Ooh, here's the sound of seizing siege tanks, and the command center is saved. Okay, and once you're maxed out, again, the longer you go without killing your opponent, the more time they are given to catch up to you. So tanks and vultures are being produced. Nice recall in the main, though. Motive snuck it in here. That's what we're talking about. And recalls in the main, again, are very rarely game-endy, but they're just so frustrating to deal with. Artosis can tell you all about that. And the vultures are the first ones to get back in, so sure, they can usually help clear out the zealots, but then the Dragoons are a major problem, and you got to bring some tanks in to deal with those guys, and they keep just sucking themselves deeper and deeper into your base. And they're killing your factories, kind of, and some of them are on fire. This is actually, that is a factory that is going to die. 150, oh, I don't know, 160 to 120 supply is not a bad spot here for Ample. Once again, mech is really cost efficient, and I don't know, a lot of Protoss died in that, and what did they do? They killed 2 factories? Like maybe a couple missile turrets while they're at it? This Dragoon's got 5 kills. He's killed some vultures while he's been around. Motive sharking up the main way here. He's going to try to deal with a pretty nice spread tank line. But a lot of zealots in the mix, and spider mines trying to clear those guys out. The vultures are like, wait, we were in the main base, hold on. Oh, this is bad. That just, okay, that did not go as well for Ample as I hoped it would. In that position, 133 to 108 supply. This is close. This is so close, but everybody comes back from the main base. It's a pretty decent number of tanks here. But if you're cleaning up your side of the map, it's really not something that you can do. You can't really get out here and mess with these newer sources of income for Motive if you're over here defending, right? So Ample's on the warpath, continuing to produce tanks. More vultures now because he recognizes he's pretty low on those boys. By that, there are no vultures in this army at all. So he has to unsiege the siege tanks because it's mostly zealots coming in to deal with him. Vultures, there we go, joining the party. 142 to 128 supply in favor of the Protoss. I don't know. This is tight. This is a very close game. I'm liking it. I'm liking this one a lot. I feel like I've cast a bunch of PVTs that are kind of over by now, but this is close. This makes me feel, makes me feel giddy with anticipation. What are we gonna get here? Spider mines laid all over the place. Oh, Ample's not just gonna jump for the main, is he? He's smarter than that. Don't go to the main. Go for, yes, go this left side. Engage with motive. Make him engage with you. Yes, fully upgraded siege tanks. Good. 12 of them here. 13, 14. Looks like about 14 fully upgraded siege tanks of siege worthiness. Handful of vultures. Dealing with a handful of zealots down here to the south. Yeah, clearing out a bunch of zealots for effectively free is not a bad thing. I don't know if Ample wants to threaten down here, though. It doesn't... Ooh, recall into the main. Motive goes back into the main, and Ample's like, gotta get back up there again. This is the worst. Fine, I guess. Yeah, Starport's gonna die. Supply depots are being hacked upon by Psyblades as well. This is just going pretty poorly. I would say for Ample, he's got to bring everybody home to deal with this, because that's how much motive committed to this. This wasn't like 5 or 6 Dragoons. This was a lot. Oh, those High Templar were saving their storms for the tanks, too. Man, he's going to supply block Ample, or he is. He's supply blocking Ample pretty effectively, actually. Yeah, there you go. 117 available to 112, or 112 available to 117 used. But 115 to 125 is pretty close in army value here. How did these tanks get over here? Guys, where did you come from? Oh, where did you come from? Where did you go? Oh, they got the Nexus! What? These guys teleported over here. He got a rogue arbiter to help teleport some tanks over this way, and he wiped out this Nexus. Okay, that's massive. It's 151 to 107 supply, though. Again, being supply block for Ample is big. He's got 1,000 minerals on the main. Can't spend it right now because of the supply block. But building new supply depots somewhere for supply purposes. He gets out of the supply block. He needs to start building those tanks and those vultures, and he is. So Goliath, vulture, 3 siege tanks. Engagement in the middle here. Motive has a beautiful concave. This front tank just dies. Good stasis, catching 4 of the, like, 8 or 9 siege tanks here. Vulture count not good enough. Takedown. Oh, takedown. I think this is it. Motive has just been able to get good enough trades. A couple good recalls into the main base. How many full bases have died today? I guess this one's died a couple times. But the other way, Ample done a good job keeping his bases alive here, and that supply block just kept him from having enough to deal with that army. This newest only source of income of Ample's is gone. It's dead. Yeah, another beautiful stasis there. Ample's trying to deal with this as only he knows how, but nah-uh. Nah-uh. Tanks are dying. There's 4 tanks alone back here. Motive's like, that's not really enough to scare me. Gotta try harder than that, my guy. And Motive. Talking up Ampled as the game starts, and Motive is just crushing right now. Protoss these days, man. They know how to do this. They know this matchup. I feel like the win rate for Terran against Protoss over the last little while is not great. Not super hot. Yeah, 143 to 72 supply at this stage of the game with no income. I mean, I guess, sure, there's minerals over here. But Motive's happily mining here. He's taking the spawn location on the bottom left side here. He's mined out of this left side base, too. I mean, really couldn't be happier with his mineral and gas income. These vultures are just trying to buy some time. trying to buy some time for Ample to mass up some kind of an army here, but making Goliaths. He's making Vultures. It would take an incredible feat of strength here for Ample to win this game, and some incredible siege tank connections, and Motive just kind of donating 18 Dragoons for nothing. Which, I don't know, a lower level Protoss would do that, right? That's a possibility. You just kind of walk your Dragoons into a tank line and they all die. And the Terran's like, thanks, I'll win, no problem. But Motive, too active for that. Continuing to move, engaging with the tanks when they're on siege. When the siege sounds comes up, getting out of there. Arbiter sneaking up left side, maybe for another recall in the main, which there are spider mines here. I don't know if you really want to do that. That Archon's dead if these Vultures decide to focus it, but it got cloaked by the Arbiter. Scan up. And another recall into the main base. My gosh. Is the third try the charm? Right on top of the production again. Things getting wiped out. Ample's just like, are you serious right now? Not unloading, not recalling into the spider mines. That would be stupid. Oh yeah, factories dying all over the place here. The army of Ample forced to come back home again. 184 to 82 supply. Production tab is 6 Dragoons and 8 Zealots at a time for Motive, and that is your GG. I'm just waiting for Ample to fully process the GG he's in here. Get it, Siege Tank. Get it, Siege Tank driver. You can win. No, can't do it. Can't do it. There's even like a storm drop back here. Oh, or right here too. There's a lot of storm drops available. Yeah, these 2 shuttles have some work to do. Oh, these SCVs are coming back in. No. No, wait. Motive's like, hold on. Are you really just... Okay. Guess we'll come in here then. Yeah, that's the sound of Ample scanning to see how many bases Motive has. And that usually, at this stage of the game, in a situation like this, comes right before a GG. Yeah, scan. He's like, where? How many bases? GG! Yup. Actually, let's rewind. I'm going to rewind real quick because I'm going to show you that that's what happened. See, a little bit of coffee, but not too bad. Still got the power. Got the power in the voice. So we're going to go that times 2. We're going to go Ample's Vision. Right? This tank dies. This is actually a pretty nice spot for an engineering bay for scouting purposes. That CV count just gets destroyed. And then these tanks are like, we can do it. And then, out of nowhere, a giant Dragoon army. Crap. And they're cloaked. And that totally sucks. So he scans here and here. And then, yeah, scan. He's like, yeah, okay. just making sure. Just seeing what you got. Good back and forth. Ample good early. Motive good, mid-game. Ample makes a really nice comeback, wiping out this base, saving one of his own. But, man, the recalls in the main really ruined his day, didn't they? All 3 of them were damaging. Like, the sheer lack of buildings in this main base is telling us everything we need to know. Several factories down, some of them actively on fire and burning down, too. Supply depots down. The supply block at that point in the game was so brutal for Ample. Yeah, recalls. Good unit. More spider mines in the main base, I guess. 274,000 points for Motive, 236 for Ample. Out producing the Protoss player, but getting out killed by the Protoss player on about the same ratio. Resources, or rather structures, 40 to 9 raised in favor of the Protoss. Makes a lot of sense. And then outspending the Terran opponent by golly, 13,000 resources? Yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number. All right, that was awesome. Like, that was some super duper impressive stuff there. And that right there is going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. If you like what you saw and what you heard today, you can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.